Okay, everybody, we're going straight to it. Now, again, like I said, I'm not going to react to all of it. I will take some parts of it, and we'll see how we do. Okay, let's start here.
Speaking of, hello everyone from the future.
Yes, we are actually you'll be watching this while we're offline. Apologies in advance. This is going to be very minimally edited, and it seems like our internet has decided to be a bit annoying today. So hopefully things will go well.
But otherwise, we still apologize for any technical difficulties.
Yeah, so let's get this over with. As we said, we're not going to be here, so you guys in the chat are talking to a past version of us. But thank you for the support for the first part. If we haven't seen there's been support yet, but whatever. Let's get into this before I say something even more stupid.
I mean, considering what we're watching, there will be plenty of stupid stuff said.
Yay! I hate this.
Me too.
All right, here we go.
Find that courage to speak up, because there's probably other people who are also like at risk, who you're really helping out by taking that stand.
Next one. You notice that African-American voice actors are often paid less than their white counterparts for similar roles in your company's games. This does not be just voice actors. It could be anybody at your company that you notice in certain roles are being compensated less. But it's not your area. What can you do? You're not part of that department. What can you do?
I mean, I would want to ask why.
Yes, but
Well, no, I understand. So, see, this one actually makes a little sense. However, I would want to ask what the reason is. So, for example, let's say the other person's getting paid more because they have more lines, or they're playing a more main character, right? That would make sense in my book.
It would.
But if you guys are doing like the same amount of work and being paid less, then yes, I'd want to know why.
Yeah, I mean, it is a good question. Or maybe someone just does a better job and isn't crazy.
I don't know, but we'll have to see. Again, I'd be curious how these people answer this. I think this would be hey, go ask them, and if you kind of deal with it. Like, again, I'm not saying that deal with it like, oh, don't make a stink about it. Like ask why and figure out reasoning behind. Don't assume that it's racially motivated until you know.
Yeah. Well, anyway, let's find out what they all think. It's probably going to be something dumb.
Okay, before we let them continue, yeah, sometimes you have to ask them what's happening. See, pay gaps are sometimes different. Some people can get equal pay, some can get less. Tell me something to my viewers. When you go to these jobs, such as voice acting or anything, were there any differences in pay? Or were there any gaps within it? Tell me in the comments. And I've noticed Kim Belair, I don't know, why they feel like they have, what was it I'm looking for? Oh yeah, uncomfortable. It's like they don't want to be here. Why is that?
Yeah, because Kim's opening her mouth. Oh boy.
This one sounds illegal.
It is illegal.
Yeah, so
It is illegal.
I think the good thing is, the good thing about that is I feel it is your department, because this one you can make a case for. But I also think that there are things, and this is not advice I give lightly or that I fully endorse all the time, but there are certain things that are bad enough that if you speak out about it and people have a problem with that, this is going to look a lot worse if they fire you and if you talk elsewhere than it will if they fix the problem. And I think it's often worth putting that forward and seeing if you can make something internally and saying, hey, this is going to be a major issue if it's found out, and having an understanding, because I feel like when things like this happen, that's when you encounter that, oh, I need help, or I want to fix this, and you'll know very quickly if there are people who are going to hear you and make space for that, or if they're going to shut it down. And if they're going to shut it down, you just have to take that next step and understand that they've just broken the law.
Okay.
How have they broken a law? I'm so confused.
I mean, they are paying two people separately and they're doing it like purposely based on race, then yeah, I understand that. But again, Kim, you just said that you basically tell them it is your place to talk about it, even if that's not the case. Like, for example, even if like you're depends on where you are in the corporate ladder. I mean, if you're like a voice actor, but you have like 3 lines, you don't really have a say in that kind of thing. I'm not saying that you should let it slide if you don't want to, but you gotta, again, these are things that you approach them respectfully. That they're already coming off the bat with this kind of like, oh, this is clearly racially motivated, and if you don't do what I say, I'm going to go to a different company and talk about it. It's like, why would I want to hire you if you're doing this?
If I were that, I probably will take a look at yes. Look, sometimes this kind of thing, it can be either racially motivated, but sometimes you need someone to be of merit. When it comes to developers, you have to have a level of experience. Though you can't use DEI hire anymore. Ever since Trump went into office, things have changed. DEI money is now drying up. There's nothing left.
No, I wouldn't.
And I'm not saying that it's okay for people to pay people differently based on skin color. That's not okay.
That's
But
true.
it's not. And that is a discriminatory practice, but it's this whole scenario is very presumptuous that they're giving.
Yes, exactly. It's very, it's literally like she's assuming that it's going to be the worst case scenario and saying, oh, well, it's your duty to do something about it. And it's like, but what if it's not? What if it's just like, okay, they did this. I want to find out first. Don't assume it comes from a place of malice until you know if it does. And then if you do, and even if they're mean or whatever, you don't go, well, you need to listen to me, or I'm going to go to another company and badmouth you. It's like, then why would I want to hire you?
Exactly. I wouldn't. What
Let's
does
keep
everyone
going.
else say?
True to a point again.
Yeah, this is one of those things where I'm going to document everything, and I'm going to present them a case and be like, hey, here are the consequences of not fixing this, and we could do this one of 2 ways, and I'm going to put it in their court and let them make the decision to fix it, hopefully, or escalate it, find a lawyer if I have to, that kind of thing.
Fair, but again,
Well,
it would be based on.
you'll escalate it? I don't know if that's the right that's the right phrase to use.
Well, I get where they're coming from because this is discriminatory practices, so I understand where the guy is coming from. However, again, you are assuming that this is based on discriminatory actions. None of you have said the first step, which you should go and you should ask them, hey, why is this the case?
That is a good point.
Because there might be a valid reason. I'm not saying that you can't get upset. There might not be a valid reason. But none of you have said, okay, first I would go and I'd say, hey, what's going on here? That's what you do first. You don't assume and go, I'm going to gather information and present a case. What if it's simply that you have 2 lines and other people have 3 pages?
Or a whole Shakespearean soliloquy.
Yes, exactly. What if the person's doing more work than you? I'm not saying that makes it that you cannot be upset being paid less, but it makes more sense in that case. It may not be discriminatory at all. You guys have not even tried to figure out if it's discriminatory or not.
Again, true to a point. Listen, folks, let me tell you this. This is the reason why when it comes to either entertainment, whatever it is, what you need is experience. I mean, how many people has already been hired and then laid off? Most importantly, how many experienced developers have left each company? You remember Convenant, I believe the name is called? You want to know how many developers from other studios that got there? 6 developers from 6 different studios, I think, from Doom, Call of Duty, Apex Legend, are now making Convenant, I don't know. I'll put in the screen the full name. How many other people who have already left either BioWare, EA, what else? Ubisoft, whatever Western AAA games or AAA developers, many of them who are bound by this, they have no other choice but either listen or quit. And they have to do it. Some of them took the hard decision to quit and start a new company. For example, many developers in Rocksteady are all gone. And I do mean the seasoned veterans. They're gone. Nobody's left.
Issue 2, same coworker often asks you for help during the week for their job. Issue 3, same coworker has pitched ideas that you have given him as his own. Issue 4, due to his behavior, coworker is about to get promoted and become lead in your department.
Of course you bring that up with the people charged. What does this have to do with being black?
It doesn't. That is something that you bring up regardless of skin color.
Yeah, you'd go right then and there, you would be like, okay, yeah, that situation is not complicated. It's messed up. You go to the higher ups and you tell them.
I would be going to the higher ups when I notice issue 3, not at issue 4.
Okay, whatever. Let's see what people have to say. This has nothing to do with being black. This is just a standard industry practice. Sorry.
Yeah.
What do you do?
So first problem.
What are you laughing at?
I do not know. Probably their own stupidity.
Ha 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 ha. I can do it too. Ha ha.
You know, I pumped us up. That's some rookie laughter, okay? That's how you laugh. That's how you laugh.
Laughing at nothing.
Ha ha. I'm laughing. Ha ha.
So, like, how did we get to issue 4?
You outlined it in the thing. You explained it. Due to these actions. Did it not just say due to these actions he got to this?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it did.
How did we get to section 4? Were you paying attention? I mean, I get
Clearly,
it. This is
was
boring as
not.
hell, so I wasn't paying attention either. Let's continue this train wreck. Who's filming that? Put that down.
Oh.
We going back to shut that shit down? That should have been shut down at issue 2. So that's the first problem. At the point of issue 4, you're almost too late. You know, it's already been done. Paperwork then been signed. You could go even with the receipts and evidence, and folks would be like, "Oh, well, you should have came to me sooner." You know,
That's what I
that's
said.
the biggest lesson there. And like my man was saying, keep your receipts. You got ideas, you better write those down. I don't care if it's Trello, Notion, something, email it to yourself, something. There better be receipts with timestamps, all of that. So people over here taking your ideas, taking credit, yeah, you
Look,
yeah, shut it down.
this is
Again, yes, and also if you've told people, if you told the person ideas that were yours, and they've been presenting that they were theirs, after the first time they did that, you stop.
Yeah, and also you tell them to stop doing it. You stop giving them the second time. You stop if they do it a second time. You stop giving them ideas entirely, and also make sure to tell people, "Hey, this guy is stealing my work."
Also, didn't we do like scenarios of this, like if people were being mean or doing all this stuff at the beginning, and he said that we have to act on it like right away?
Oh yeah, they did. Because they
So-
start the first issue that in the scenario is the guy keeps interrupting you at meetings.
Okay, so you tell them off and problem solved. This is a nothing burger panel. How has this panel gone on for 3 years straight?
Maybe the rest I will continue it in the next video if I ever make one. I have to say, ooh, that's a lot to react, and I'm not gonna put it in this video. I have to say, how many people are going there? When's the last time anyone has ever seen a GDC? I mean, ever since the Scream, everybody now knows what the GDC is. It's one massive circle jerks where everybody get together, scream at the top of their lungs, and saying why the Chuds are winning. And right now, Alyssa McConaughey, just recently, is now taking a fight with Asmongold. Yeah, that's right. I'm not joking. It's true, it happens. Honestly, in my opinion, diversity can do well. Look, the one thing you need to know that cannot be ignored, and that is gameplay and story. They cannot take a backstage. They have to take front and center. And this is something that most of these DEI hires, they fail to understand. And right now, and how many people that are in either what? EA, BioWare, what else? Rocksteady, Rockstar, or even in this case, Ubisoft to make their own company. How many? There's new games, Covenant, I believe. Again, I'll put it on the screen. And there's also games such as, what's the name that the ex-developer or BioWare is? I don't know. I need to check on the games, these things. Rechecking it. So like I said, many seasoned veterans of either BioWare, Rocksteady, Rockstars, or even Ubisoft, they're all gone. They don't work there anymore. The people who made Batman Arkham Asylum, they're gone. Now, I know it's off topic. I just had to put it in. And also, diversity can do well if you make sure the gameplay is front and center. The messaging must be lax. Many gamers don't even care. As long as the game is good, it can be playable, and the story is much good, and diversity is something that people don't care. But if you shove it, if you force players to accept diversity, then it becomes a problem, which is why people say diversity only happens naturally. Now, I'm gonna leave Gothic Therapy's full video, link in the description, and it's a lot to unpack, okay? So check it out.
That one hurt. Comes some serious damage.
do, Spider-Zero.
Moonlight left his own.
Get you there to do it.
Another epic victory! Big win!
Leave a like and subscribe if you want gaming news, gaming theories, or you just want to see me play games, or perhaps you like trending topics. You can visit my first, third, and fourth channel up here or link in the description.